Staggs here today to talk to us about a big change that's going on right now, and that's our transition to Traliant from Kantola. Mike, what do you got to tell us?
Yeah, so this is an exciting transition. We're excited about it. We hope you guys will be too after we go through some things here to let you see kind of what we're looking at. Um, so again, really excited to get this underway with you. And you may have heard that Traliant bought out Kantola. I don't know if you'd heard that yet or not, but about the middle of last year, um, Kantola was acquired by this Traliant company. Traliant is another like learning management, online learning type of platform. Um, they have some real advantages over Kantola though, so this is going to be a super cool transition for us. So let's get into it, and I'll show you some of the features and some of the kind of like what the timeline we're looking at, as well as the differences between the two different programs. Okay. So with Kantola, many of you have been using Kantola, and we hope you've enjoyed it. We've seen a lot of good training come out of this. People have commented that we've seen a lot of good numbers, and people are just we're really excited to use this platform. So we thank you for using it. You guys have been great as administrators in getting in and using the system. So with the Kantola system, you may know it's heavy in HR and compliance type trainings. It does have some professional development there. It does have some like little tidbits around safety, but there's not a lot in there for those things. Some of those trainings are outdated, right? There are some trainings in there that have some age to them. I think we all know which ones they are, and there are some in there that weren't really relevant to kind of what we're looking for. Okay. There were very limited options for safety training. They had, I think they have a section on fire extinguishers. They have a section on forklifts, but it's not very well done. Okay. One of the biggest things in Kantola that they did not have was the ability to send out notifications to the users when new trainings were assigned to them. So for example, you guys as administrators, you would go in and you would assign XYZ training to the folks in your organization. Well, those people wouldn't get a notification directly from Kantola telling them that they had a new training assigned. You would actually have to go out and you would have to send an email from your email system or send a reminder email through Kantola through a different format to say, hey, we need to let people know that they've got a new training assigned. Okay. Kantola didn't do that for us. And other things with Kantola is whenever your users, your staff members did get an email from Kantola, it always came addressed from the trust. So it came addressed from Steve Hansen, who's our CEO. And so that was a little confusing for some of your users. We would get, I don't know if you guys were aware of the amount of phone calls and emails that we would get on these kind of an issue. Hey, I need to reset my password, or I'm not employed here anymore, or I don't know why I'm getting this training. Why are you sending it to me? We would get those emails all the time because the emails that were coming from Kantola they looked like they were coming from us here at the trust. Looked like it was the trust assigning the trainings out versus you guys as an organization assigning those trainings out. So those are just some of those limitations and things that Kantola had in them, the little quirks, right, that I think we got used to, because you guys did a excellent job as administrators in helping to get the message across that we had trainings available and ready to use. So that's why we felt it was important to get you together so everyone who's on this webinar today is an administrator, right? You have all the rights and privileges that you need in Kantola in order to assign trainings, in order to add users, delete users, and all that kind of stuff. So we wanted to make sure that we get you on here to tell you about the new stuff now with Traliant. Okay. With Traliant, they have a very well-balanced training portfolio. Okay, we'll go through some of these trainings here in just a minute on what you have available to you now. The trainings are consistently updated. They're going to consistently be updating all of their trainings, if not on a yearly if not on a yearly basis, it's going to be every couple of years. They're going to be updating these trainings. The high use trainings, your things like your harassment training, that kind of stuff, those are going to be updated every year. Okay. One of the things we're most excited about, and I think you guys are going to love the most here is what I'm going to call direct links. Okay. Which means there's no usernames and passwords needed for your users in order to log into the system. It is super cool. It's really slick. I'll show you a couple of screenshots and I'll show you how it'll actually look for the users when they get the email for their notifications. There are customizable notifications that you can put out, which means that when you assign a training or when they complete something, you can set it to be coming right directly from you as the administrator. So it's coming from Mike Stagg, or it's coming from Jason Watterson, or it's coming from Brody Parker or Scott Neal or Jacob Cutright. It's coming right from you at the organization. Okay. So that makes it better for the employees, because then they recognize, okay, this is coming from my employer. It's not coming from somebody that I don't know who it's coming from. Okay. Traliant also gives us the ability to set trainings and notifications for the future, which means you can set your whole calendar year. You can set your whole fiscal year. You can set whatever you want, the trainings that you want completed. Okay. You can set all of those trainings once at the beginning of the year, and then assign Traliant, excuse me, assign Traliant to send out the notifications and load those trainings into your user's training plan at specific times throughout the year. So say you want to load 3 trainings in September, and then come December, you want to load 3 more in. You can set all of that in to go in September, and it will send the 3 in September. And then once your date in December rolls around that you want to send those trainings out, it'll send those out in December. It's super cool, the way that it works like that. So it is very flexible. It allows you to do a lot more inside of it than Kantola really allowed you to do. Now, what's going to stay the same though between Kantola and Traliant in this transition? Okay, it's still going to be free. Okay, it's still part of your membership trust. There's no charge to you. You can assign as many trainings as you want and have as many users as you want. That's not going away. Okay, you're still going to be able to do whatever you need to do in order to assign those trainings out. Meaning, don't worry about paying for it. We just want you to use it. Okay, this is one of those things that Jason and I in the risk management team, we think, a well-trained employee is also a safe employee. There's somebody who knows behaviors to avoid, behaviors to embrace, things like that. And so if we get them trained, they're safer. And that's why we have no problem with paying for it for you. As long as you'll use it, we are happy to cover the cost of the program for you. Just the same as Kantola, no additional costs are associated for you with this program. Okay. And again, just like Kantola, if the device can access the internet, it can access the training. So every training is mobile friendly. Every training you can play on a phone or a tablet or a laptop or a desktop. Okay. You can do group trainings. You can do whatever you need to do in order to have your users complete this training. Okay. We don't necessarily assign everybody a laptop or a desktop in our organization, but dang it, everyone knows the password for our Wi-Fi. Everyone's got cell phones. Okay. So they can take it on their phone. Other stuff that stays the same is in Kantola, you have the ability to start and stop the training as many times as you needed to in order to complete that training. Traliant's the same way. You can exit out of the training, completely close your browser window, navigate away, come back 3 weeks later, and the training is going to start you from where you left off at. You don't have to start from the very beginning. Okay. Again, a very nice feature that's going to stay the same for you as we move forward in this transition. Okay. And again, if there are questions, please just type them in the chat box. Jason will Jason can interrupt me and let me know if we've got questions or not. But that's kind of the little the like 35,000-foot view of what's going to change and what's going to stay the same, and the things we're going to be upgrading with this new transition. Okay. So as we talk about the training portfolio, the Traliant training portfolio is monitored and updated by an in-house legal team, which is a good thing for us. Okay. Which means it's going to be constantly updated. With Kantola, they had to go to outside companies and things like that to bring in this training that they were using. With Traliant, it's different. They have an in-house team, an in-house legal team that is putting together these trainings and making sure that everything is good and coherent with our different laws and requirements that we might have. Their trainings utilize a story-based approach. Okay, so it's scenario-based. People are doing something, and you then go through the training in that matter. It's not just death by PowerPoint or something like that. Okay, it's going to be, they're using stories to kind of drive home the points that they're looking to get you at. Another new thing is there are English and Spanish or other language options for you in many of these trainings, which is really awesome. Kantola didn't have that. Everything was in English. Okay. Their training portfolio has English options and Spanish language options for many of the trainings that are in here. So those of you who have folks on your team who English might be their second language and Spanish might be their first, or another world language might be their first language, you do have the ability now to assign them the Spanish version of the different training, so that they can take the training in their native language. Okay, which is really, really cool. Okay, there's still quizzes involved. Okay, they still have to take their quizzes and to test their learning and things like that. And there also will still be issued completion certificates. You can print out those completion certificates. They can print them out, put them on their wall, make it look all fancy. Okay. But that, again, the training portfolio is robust. It's a great platform to use. Some of the things it's going to have in there for you. Okay. It has HR training. Obviously we have preventing workplace harassment as one of their big ones. Okay. And again, that one's going to be updated every single year, which is great. There's also some other stuff in here that we haven't had access to before. Things like anti-money laundering, avoiding retaliation, active bystandership, creating positive work environments, drugs and alcohol in the workplace. Okay. Just there's some really good stuff in here with HR training. Okay. Other stuff with HR training, there's training all in here on FMLA. On health and wellness, they have different modules in health and wellness. They have a specific module for emotional health and wellness, financial, intellectual, occupational, physical, all sorts of really poignant trainings right around health and wellness, which is kind of cool. Okay. And they're getting a really holistic approach here to the training platform. There's also going to be, there's also a course in there on preventing bullying in the workplace violence prevention. And they do have management courses in here for managers. Things like managing difficult employees, interviewing, hiring, and things like that, and performance evaluations and how to do those things. There are great management courses in here for your seasoned managers or for even your upcomers that you've identified maybe who says, this is a shining star. This is somebody that we want to strap a rocket onto. Let's put them in and give them some management courses right now, even though they may not be in that kind of position currently. Let's get them prepared for when we're ready to put them there. Okay. So again, just some really, really good stuff here. There are some excellent legal trainings in this training portfolio. Okay. Stuff around anti-bribery and anti-corruption, avoiding conflicts of interest, code of conduct training. For those of you who have HIPAA to worry and deal with health departments and things like that, there's a great training on HIPAA. Modern slavery. Okay, this one is interesting. And I put this one, I wanted to highlight this modern slavery legal training for really one specific reason. Those of you who have followed the Utah State Legislature will know that there was a bill put into law just this past legislative session around modern slavery, saying that if you work for a local government entity it is now illegal for you to procure products or buy products or things like that, or to employ like a supply chain that knowingly uses slavery. Okay. And so that is a training that we can go through to meet some requirements that we have around this new legislative law. There's also training in here on records management. So as you look at the legal training here, and you go back and look at some of these things in HR training, we now have some training in here for you for public officials. Okay, we didn't have a lot of that inside of Kantola. So now with our public officials, our elected folks, we do have maybe some options for you to look at in getting them trained in some things that they might need in their specific elected positions. Okay. Jason, we got any questions so far? Are we doing okay?
We do have a question. Joel asks, how do we find new training courses that are the same or meets the requirements? For example, defensive driving, which is currently composed of several sub-courses.
Okay. So you're just, Joel, I'm thinking you're wondering about it's hard to not see the question in front of you. One more time, Jason.
How do we find new training courses that are the same or meets the requirements? For example, defensive driving, which is currently composed of several sub-courses. How do we cross over classes between what they're currently doing with Kantola or other options that we have?
Okay. If that's the question around, like, how do you find what they're, the new platform here in Traliant versus what we're currently doing in Kantola or Streamery or whatever we might be looking at. Yeah, great question, Joel. I will get to that here in just a second as we look at what the transition looks like and things like that, if that's okay.
Yep, and Joel confirmed that was what he was asking.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right. But safety. This is Jason and I's world, right? Safety is important. And it's important to us, and we hope it's important to you as well. This LMS, this Traliant system, makes safety a real priority, okay? Which is why we're so excited that it just kind of happened, and we didn't have to go out and search for anything, okay? There is very specific safety trainings that they have in here. Things around electrical safety, emergency preparedness, ergonomics, fall protection, hazard communication, materials handling. You'll notice if you're doing your OSHA homework, these are all OSHA required type stuff that we've got to go through every year. Okay, so this gives us some of those trainings that would meet some OSHA requirements. Okay, we have to look at some of the trainings and make sure that there's not practical portions and things like that may be involved, but there is some trainings in here that are going to help us now. Other safety trainings, training around personal protective equipment, slips, trips, and falls, active shooter response. We didn't have an option for an active shooter response training. We do now. It's here in this Traliant system. Okay, training around bloodborne pathogens, cybersecurity and cybersecurity awareness training. Okay, some really, really good topics around safety training. They also have a really neat feature that what they call is short safety briefs. Think of these as your 3 to 5 minute like toolbox talk, daily brief, whatever you want to do. These are short safety topics that you can give out to the employees, and they can do it like in a group meeting, or right before the start of their day, they get an alert. Hey, take this quick little training. This is all really practical type of stuff that a frontline worker might use, like donning and doffing, putting on and taking off personal protective equipment, how you do that safely, heat stress and heat avoid and heat awareness. Okay, another great one with new OSHA requirements coming out later on this year around heat stress and heat awareness and things like that. That's going to be critical for us as we train our folks around recognizing heat illnesses and injuries. Inspections of personal fall arrest systems, okay, PFAS. How you do an inspection of a personal fall arrest system, making sure that it's good for you to use when going out on the job site. Okay. How to conduct a job hazard analysis, lockout and tagout, occupational noise exposure. Okay. These are some really, really good topics for us around these little safety things, chemical hazards, environmental awareness, proper lifting, using a fire extinguisher. So some really good trainings here around safety that we just didn't have the option for with Kantola. Okay.
Mike,
Now,
we had a
yeah,
question that says, please tell us that they have ladder safety.
yes, they do have ladder safety. They have ladder safety.
And if not, we have one on our YouTube channel.
Yep. Okay. One of the things that I think is that we're going to be most excited about here is our direct links. Okay. So now here's an example of an email that is a notification email that's sent out to the users when they're assigned a course. Okay. It'll have the employee's name at the top. Hello, whoever. Thank you for participating in your organization's training program. Okay. Right here, it just says Ash Creek because I assigned myself to Ash Creek. So if you're here with Ash Creek, I now work for you. But otherwise, it will have your organization's name there, and it'll tell them the course it's assigned. It'll give them the deadline for when the course has to be completed. And then you see they have a link right there in the center of their screen. All they have to do is click or tap that link from their phone or from their web browser, and it's going to take them directly to the training. Okay. They don't have to log in. They don't have to use a username or a password or remember a website to go to. Just click the link. As long as they have this email with the notification email, whether that's a reminder email or the original notification when they were assigned the course, all they have to do is click the link and it goes and it takes them right to the training, logs them right in. It's fantastic. The only thing is if they start to share this link with somebody else, if Mike shares it with Jason, Jason goes and clicks the link, Jason's going to complete the training for Mike, not for Jason. Okay. So got to make sure that we don't share this link. It says here in the middle, this is your personal link. Please don't forward or share. But just making folks aware that when they get these notification emails for the direct links, they can't share it. It is a personal link. It would work for them. It'll work for everybody else. But then Jason is going to complete the training for Mike, and Jason is not going to get credit for it. Okay. And here at the bottom, it is going to list their credentials, their login credentials. Okay. It'll give them the link. It'll give them their username and their password. It'll put that thing in there for them. They don't need it though. All they have to do is click the link and it'll go. Super simple, very easy for somebody to log in to take the training, because now they don't have to remember a password or a username or a website. Just grab the email, click the link, and it'll go. Okay. There are customizable notifications that you can put out there. If you set a deadline for a training to be completed, you can set customizable notifications on when they're going to receive reminder emails. Okay. In Kantola, it was set for us. Okay. It would send it out 2 weeks before, 3 days before, 2 days before, and then day of. And then 7 days after. It was a set thing. In Traliant, you can customize to send reminders at whatever intervals you would like. If you only want to send one reminder, if you don't want to send 100 reminders, you can do that. Okay. You can send however many reminders you want to send and at what intervals before or after a due date that you want to. Okay. It's great. Again, you send the direct link. Here's a couple of examples of the direct links. Okay. We are remind you, you've been assigned this course. It should be completed by this date. To access the training, click here. You click it, and it takes you right to the training that they need to complete. Okay. Conversely, you see over here on the right-hand side, this is a email that they would get if a training was past due. Remind you that the following training is now past due, and it was due to be completed on this date. Please access the training by clicking here. Okay. It's awesome because it allows you to customize your notification times to your users to let them know this is when it has to be completed by, and here's your direct link to log in to take that training. Super, super cool. Okay. All right. Now let's talk about a timeline. What the transition actually looks like. Okay. It is really your choice on what you want to do. We've got 3 options for you. Okay. Option number 1 is you transition immediately. Okay. We go now and we transition immediately from Kantola into Traliant. Okay. We can do that. Option number 2 is you keep using Kantola until the end of the year. Okay. 12/31/24. You complete all of your trainings in Kantola. You just keep using it as normal. You assign new trainings, assign new users, whatever. You just do everything inside of Kantola until 12/31/24. Okay. And then we transition on January 1st of 25. Or option 3 is you've got all these trainings assigned in Kantola that people are already working on with due dates and things like that. We want them to complete all of their assigned trainings in Kantola, but they've all got to be done before the end of December. Okay. Complete everything now, but now any new trainings that you assign, you do it in Traliant. So you kind of have to bounce 2 systems back and forth with option 3. One with old trainings in Kantola, one with the new trainings in Traliant. So that's an option for you too. If you notice here, we've got a common date though, 12/31/24. That's when we have to move everybody over. Okay, that's our drop dead date. So by 1/1 of 25, everybody will be in Traliant. Okay, but up until then, you kind of have the choice on what you want to do. Okay, you can keep using Kantola if you'd like, and then transition in January, or you can keep using Kantola just for your old stuff, and all your new stuff you put in Traliant, or you can just say, we're done with Kantola. We're going to move to Traliant right now. Okay. So those are really kind of what our timelines and our choices look like. If you choose option 1, really what we want to do is transition immediately. Okay. Schedule a call. We'll schedule a call soon with you to walk through what that looks like and walk through the system and show you what it looks like and give you, all the information that you might need to get you up to speed with that platform. And then you just start training. Option 2, where we transition in January of 2025. You'll continue to use Kantola as normal, assigning, like you've been doing before, assign new trainings, removing people, adding new people, whatever you need to do. Just as normal all the way through the end of the year. We'll schedule a call in December to move you over in January. Okay. If you want to do option 3, the one where you kind of do a hybrid of both, old trainings in Kantola, we're going to keep doing that. New trainings, we're going to do all of that in Traliant. But let's schedule a call soon so we can get you into Traliant and using that system like you might need to. Okay. Now, what we want you to do is, here's a QR code here on your screen. You snap it with your phone, or hold over the camera with your phone. That'll take you to a survey so you can pick one of these options. Jason will also drop the link for this in the chat, so you can see that, and you can click there, and please fill out this survey. It's just super quick. Just ask you your options, what you want to do, just so we know where you're at, so we can start to get things scheduled with you if you want to transition over immediately. Okay. So before we go and take a look around the system, before I go and take a tour with you, Jason, do we have any more questions?
Yeah, we got a couple of questions, Mike. Will current employee information merge over, or will we need to re-add all information?
Great question. We have already gotten everything moved over for you. So everything is in Traliant. It's already, it's really sitting in a wait moment, in a wait, what do you want to call it? A wait status. Okay. Where it's just sitting there, it's turnkey, it's ready to go for as soon as we say go. So you don't have to re-enter all your employees in. We've already taken the data and moved most of your we've moved everything over that was in Kantola into Traliant. If there have been changes that you've made within the last maybe couple of weeks, those may not be reflected. We may need to go through some stuff there.
All right. Another question. Dan asks, I hesitate to click links in emails due to the cybersecurity risks. We have been trained to go to the websites directly. What do you suggest with this in mind?
If you want to do that, that's totally okay. There's different notifications that you can send out. There's the direct links one, which is super easy and super slick. Or you could do, there is a traditional notification email that you could send that would give website username password.
Okay.
So you don't have to even choose that option for you when you're selecting a different notification. And when we're going through your transition and what those notifications look like, I'll show you where all of those are.
Okay. Tanya asked, will our previous history also transfer?
That is a fantastic question. Unfortunately, it will not. Previous history will not transfer over, which is why we've got to make sure if we've got stuff assigned in Kantola that people are already working on, it's either A, have them complete it in Kantola and then move over, or B, like, sorry, you didn't complete it. You've now got to complete it in Traliant. What we'll do before everything turns off is we will download all the information. We can send you all of your class histories and things like that for all of the employees. So at least they have that record of what they've been through the last few years. But unfortunately, learner and user history will not transfer over into Traliant.
All right. We have some great questions here. Tom asks, is Streamery sticking around?
Streamery is sticking around. It ain't going anywhere. Yeah, Streamery is still going to be there. It'll still be an option for you to use, but Kantola will be retiring. Doing okay?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, that's it. Okay, you said there's a lot of good questions. I thought there were more.
Oh, good questions. They were great questions.
That's awesome. Okay, so let's take a quick tour. Let's take a look around at Traliant and what it looks like. Okay. What it will look like for you and what it will look like for your learners, for the employees. So this screen here is the only screen that your employees actually see. Okay. This is the screen that lists all of their trainings. Okay. If they were to log into the website, which is just lms.traliant.com, and then use their username and password, this is the screen they come to. Okay. Again, it's going to just list the courses that they have been assigned, which is, again, really nice. It'll show them their due dates. All they do is click to start the course. It'll play natively within the browser. There's nothing to download. There's no plugins or things like that. They just go, and it works for them. Okay, it's really, really nice and simple. For you as administrators, okay, you'll have a separate option here that says go to your admin console. All right. There's also some other things here. You can turn on dark mode if you like. Okay. So if you want to be cool and go into dark mode, you can do that. Okay. You can turn on light mode. You can change your languages. Okay. So if I wanted to, look in Chinese, I can see them in Chinese. Okay. Which is kind of cool. It says Ni Hao Huaning. Okay. Pretty neat. You didn't know I could speak Chinese, huh? Anyway, as you change the languages, here's your help and support. Okay. Here's where you can log out, update your own profiles, things like that. But if you click here, it's going to take you now to the administrator console. Now you'll see here that we've got a dashboard area for you that is going to fill up and look. It'll fill up with all of your different assignments that you have, the different statuses, whether they're current or past due or completed, what courses were assigned out, okay, where those courses are assigned inside of your organization. It's a super cool dashboard. You can also customize the layout here in the dashboard. You can choose what you want to see. If you want to see the assignments by country, do that. They'll all be from America because that's where your organization is, but you can still do that, which is kind of cool. But excuse me, you can play around with these with the different views and things like that to really kind of get at a glance view of what the training looks like inside of your organization. Okay. Now, where most of your work is going to be done likely is here on this user screen. And again, this is already all populated for you with all of the user data for you. Okay. Here you're going to see everybody within the organization that is using Kantola currently. Okay. This is where you assign courses. This is where you look at individual users and things like that. Okay. There are some quirks here with how we assign courses, how we put them into somebody's learning plan that I'll go through with you when we go through the transition, when we take your organization through that transition, okay? But here's where you see, your users. This is where you add new users into your organization with name, last name, email addresses, okay? All that kind of stuff. We'll go through how to do all that when we go through your walkthrough, okay? If you click on assignments, you can see all of the organization assignments that have been assigned out, all the training that have been assigned out. You can see when it was assigned, what the due date is, when they completed it, the time they last even looked at the stinking thing. You can see that too, okay? You'll see their scores from when they take their quizzes, okay? It's really nice. Here on the notifications, this is where you see which ones you've scheduled to go out, okay? These are scheduled to go out as a past due, or this is when I'm sending you a direct login to let you know that something has been assigned. You can see which ones are processed, which ones have we already sent out to folks. You can see when they were sent out, what dates, if the status is sent or unsent, okay? It's a cool feature for you to look at just to see what's going on within the system. Kantola didn't give you that transparency. Traliant does, which is really, really nice for you, okay? All right, the thing that you'll notice that's missing though from Kantola is a list of available courses. That's something that we're working on to get Traliant to add in here on the left-hand side. Okay, so you'll have a link there with all of the available courses for you. Jason's going to go ahead and drop a PDF in the chat though of their course catalog. This is kind of what we're going to have to go on for now while they're working on adding something over here in this blue bar on the left-hand side for us as administrators, so we can see at a glance what courses are available, how long they'll take, and things like that. Okay. But that's pretty much it for this quick little intro to what we're looking at here. We still have the ability to apply bulk actions, which means you can assign trainings to everybody all at the same time within the organization, so you don't have to go through and assign courses one by one, which is really nice. Okay. Again, I'll go through with you individually on how all of these things transition and how it looks for you and your specific organization. Okay. So what we ask is that you just please fill out that survey. Jason will drop that link there in the chat if it's gotten bumped down. But please fill out that survey so you can see, so we can get an idea of what that transition would look like for you and your organization. And if we've got any questions, let's go ahead and grab those now.
Okay, we have some questions. Joel says, I assume that answers to transition planning questions are for planning purposes only.
Yes, that is correct. For planning purposes only. We're not going to force you to go over, right? What we'll do, you'll answer the transition questions, then we'll talk about it. What do you want to do? This just gives us an idea of what we're looking for.
Okay. Tom says, we use a different LMS at the county. Can this system integrate with other systems?
You know what, Tom? It can. We'll take that offline and we'll talk about that and see what it looks like. We haven't explored that with Traliant, but I know that there is that ability. And I don't know if there's additional costs associated with that or anything like that. So that's something we're going to have to take offline and look at, if that's okay.
A related question to that, Brody asks, along with Tom's question, will we be able to add some of our own organization-specific recorded trainings to this LMS?
Oh, Brody, that's a great question. Traliant does have that option. We are actually working with them to see what we can do to make that a feasible thing for either you as the member to add that onto your platform exclusively, where you guys might have to foot some cost for that, or we're looking at other options and trying to get creative with how we might be able to upload customized content into the system. Kantola, it was just no, that option is not available. Traliant, the option is available, but we have to work through with them on some of the pricing things on what we're trying to do, so we can, number one, keep costs down for you guys if if it's something that you want specific for your organization, or to see what we might be able to do to just provide it for you in some kind of a manner. So stay tuned. There is possibly that option in the future.
All right. We have multiple people asking questions about groups. Will we still be able to set groups for different types of roles? For example, a general city group with courses XYZ, and then one for leadership with courses ABC. An employee could be assigned in both roles like Kantola.
Yes, great question. So in Traliant, you are able to assign folks to belong to one department or one specific group. Kantola allowed you to do multiple. Traliant only allows one. And so it would be like these people are the parks department. This is the aquatics department. These are public works or whatever. You couldn't assign somebody to be in public works and leadership and supervisors or whatever. They can be assigned to only one group at a time.
Okay. Related question, if we can create groups, would we be able to pull reports, overdue training report based on those groups?
Yep, absolutely. Yep. You could absolutely pull those reports right from that dashboard that I showed you. Right from that dashboard that I showed you, you would see those here, assignments by location, and each of your departments is a different location for you. Okay. So you would have like Summit County Aquatics, Summit County Parks, Summit County Recreation. And each of those you would be able to click into. You could see those trainings that were assigned there. You could see completion statuses and all that kind of stuff. So yes, absolutely, they can do that.
Let's see. How do we print the certificates, and how do those come to us?
Great question. Printing certificates, it will appear here. Okay. You will see the notifications. You'll also get an option on your dashboard to print those out. The user is automatically emailed those certificates once they complete. So you can request them to send them to you once they're completed, or you can go in here into your dashboard and download the certificates as a bulk action to put in folders or whatever you need to do.
Okay, going back to the group question, but we can assign leadership courses or something outside of their department individually.
Yes, you could do that. You could do that for sure.
So you could have a departmental, and then maybe they're a supervisor or a manager in there. You can take a separate group, and it wouldn't be a group inside of the LMS, but you could assign an additional course to an individual. Okay.
Yes, and you can assign those. So for example, you've got somebody who's in a leadership role who is also in the parks department. So when you assign them to the parks department, they're automatically assigned those 5 trainings that you've set for the parks department. But then that person in the leadership role, you would just assign a training to them individually for the leadership course you wanted them to take. And going back to the certificate question, you can also set it up to when somebody completes a training that you as the administrator automatically get their certificate if you want that. I think that Traliant does have that ability to just send you that certificate when it's done. So which is kind of cool too.
Okay, Mike, that looks like those are all the questions that we have for right now.
Okay, perfect. Well, I hope this will be a good transition for everybody. We're really excited about it. There's some really cool courses in here. There's some really good content. I think it's going to be a great thing for us as we move forward. Not only today, but through the end of the year and next year when we are moving everything into Traliant to just get it going. So if everyone can please just fill out that survey, just so we know where you're at and what you're kind of looking at for your timeline. We'll start to get in touch with you and schedule some times to get your transition taken care of, or we can even discuss more if you're like, we need we need to talk about this a little bit or figure out exactly what we'd like to do, that's okay. Just take note of that web address for that survey. Also, when we send out this recording, we'll include the links there. We'll include the PDF of the courses that are all available. So you guys will all have that. But otherwise, that's all we really got for you. So again, thank you for being here. Thank you for taking, some time out of your Monday, and we will hopefully talk to y'all soon.
Thanks, Mike. Everybody go out and have a safe day.